Hi students, so today we're going to discuss on chapter 8 in your syllabus here related to marketing channels, which is in delivering the customer value. So as you can see here in the slides, it is chapter 12. That means in your textbook, which you can refer to your e-textbooks, it will be in chapter 12. So let's look at what are the learning objectives of this chapter. First, to explain why companies use marketing channels and discuss the functions that these channels perform. Secondly, we're going to discuss on how channel members interact and also how they organize to perform the work of the channel members. And then identify the major channel alternatives, explain how companies select, motivate, and evaluate the channel members. And lastly, we're going to discuss on the nature and importance of marketing logistics and integrated supply chain management. So let's look at the first learning objective. Now, bear in mind that this chapter is related to the distribution, okay, about when you wanted to place your product in the market. So you will require these channel members. So let's look at what is actually this marketing channel or the channel members and why companies need them. First, we look at the supply chain and also value delivery networks. There are upstream and also downstream partners. So when you talk about the upstream partners, these are the firms that supply raw materials, components, part information, finances, and expertise needed to create a product or service. Basically, these upstream partners are actually before the product is actually being made, right? While when you talk about the downstream partners, downwards, in means that it includes the marketing channels or distribution channels that look toward the customer, including retailers and wholesaler. These downstream partners are basically those partners that will be involved after the product has been made. Okay, so remember, the upstream partners are those firms that actually involve with the production, okay, or before the production, while downstream is after the production. That means you already have the finished goods, and then next what you need to do is you want to market the product, you want to bring the product to the customer. All right, so that those are the downstream partners. Next, we look at the supply chain and also demand chain. As I think you have learned in economy about supply and also demand. Now, when you talk about supply chain, that means you make and sell, right? Which this view includes the firm's raw materials, productive inputs, and factory capacity. When you do this supply chain, you are talking about before the products are being made. Okay, and then while you talk about demand chain, this is the sense and response, which the view suggests that planning will start from the needs of the target customer. So before you start production, you will look at the demand or the senses and also the responses from the customer in a way that you wanted to know first what customer would like to have. Okay, that is when you do demand chain. Another one is what we call this value delivery network, which composed of the companies, suppliers, distributors, and also, of course, customers who partner with each other to improve the performance of the entire system. This means that you are actually, what they call it, integrating, okay, both the supply and also demand changes now to create this what they call the value delivery network. A good example is Pepsi, which you can read in this particular slide. So now let's look at what is actually a marketing channel. Okay, now bear in mind, sometimes marketing channel is called the distribution channel. Okay, so it is actually a set of interdependent organization. It is an interdependent because they need each other. It will involve many companies or many firms or different types of firms, all right, that will need each other, okay, to help to make a product or service available for use or consumption by the consumer or even the business users. And how does channel members add value? So the channel members will actually transform the assortment of products into assortments wanted by consumers. Okay, with the channel members, you can actually what I call transform. That means you bring together assortment of products that the factory sells into the assortments of products that the customer wanted to buy. Okay, and they also bridge the major time, place, and also position gaps that separate goods and also services from the user. Next, let's look at this particular figure. Okay, and this is how the distributor or the marketing channels reduces the number of channel transactions. So you imagine these are the manufacturers. Okay, so there are manufacturer A, B, and C, for example, here, and there are many customers. Without the marketing channel, yeah, this is what happened. That means there are many transactions. All right, there are many transactions and also many number of contacts. I mean, if you want to get a product from one manufacturer, you have to go to that particular manufacturer. But if you, let's say, wanted to compare that particular product to another manufacturer, you have to go to another manufacturer to do that comparison. Okay, but with the marketing channel, for example, a distributor, so all of this what they call manufacturers can go to this one distributor, while each and every customer can go to this one distributor to get the product that they wanted to have. Okay, a good example is, let's say you wanted to buy your groceries. Okay, so things that you normally buy for your groceries are things in the kitchen. For example, you want to have milk, right? So you want to buy milk, you have, if without the distributor or without the marketing channel, you want to buy, let's say, Nestle milk, so you have to go to Nestle. All right, and then after that you would think that you wanted to buy some a can of Coca-Cola, for example. So Nestle doesn't produce Coca-Cola, so you have, as a customer, you have to go to another manufacturer to get that particular Coke. All right, and after that you feel also, okay, you need to buy a spaghetti, for example. Okay, so you need to go to another manufacturer to get that spaghetti. All right, so there are many transactions, there are many contacts needed to be done without the marketing channel. So with the marketing channel, so what happened, let's say you have the Unaco supermarket. Okay, so all the manufacturers selling the milk just now, Coca-Cola, and also spaghetti, can send their products to this distributor. So what happened is that you, as a consumer or the customer, you can just go to this one distributor, H&L, is it? Oh, no, Unaco. Okay, you can go to Unaco to buy all the three manufacturers' product without having to go to each and every manufacturer's shop. Okay, so that's good thing about having this marketing channel. Now, how does channel member add value? It includes information. Okay, the channel member could give information to the manufacturer. Okay, it can also help to do promotion for the manufacturer, provide the contact efficiency, like what I showed you just now in the previous figure. The channel member also can match the customer to the product. Okay, do the negotiation, physically distribute the products, can also provide some financing in a way that they provide loans, or not loans, credits for the consumer to buy things from them. Okay, and also risk taking. That means once the distributor get the product from the manufacturer basically has sold the products to this distributor. So in a way that how the risk is being taken is that the manufacturer already earned their profit the moment they are able to sell to the distributor. So that's it. The manufacturer can happily earn their profit. Now the risk is at the distributor. That is the role of the distributor, whereby they need to sell the product to the consumer. So that is the risk taken by the distributors. Okay, another one that you need to know is about the channel level, direct marketing channel, and also indirect marketing channel. When you talk about channel level, it is a layer of intermediaries that performs some work in bringing the product and its ownership closer to the final buyer. Alright, later I'll show you the level. Next is the direct marketing channel. This is a marketing channel that has no intermediary level. That means this channel level just now, when you have direct marketing channel, that means there's no intermediary, or there's no other firms in between. Right? And indirect, that means there are marketing channels that containing one or more intermediary level. I'm sure you're not, you can't imagine it when I show you this, but later on here, okay, you'll be able to see that these are the layers. Okay, layers. This is direct marketing channel, which the producer can directly sell to the consumer. Okay, same goes to the business marketing channel. Yeah, this is for consumers. These are for the business users. Okay, remember there are two types of customers. Yeah, you have the consumer itself that buy for their own personal consumption and also for household consumption, while the business customers that buy things for the usage of their businesses. Okay, so this is direct marketing channel, while these two are actually the indirect marketing channel. That means there are intermediaries. Intermediaries are here, retailers, okay, wholesalers, all right, that helps to sell the product from the producer to the consumer. Typically, producers that sells the services need to do direct marketing channel, because you can't have a retailer or wholesaler to sell the services. Okay, for example, having a haircut at a salon. So the producer, which is the hairstylist, okay, the one that cut the hair, need to directly sell the service or deliver the service to the consumer. You can't have a hairstylist that sell whatever services to retailer and then retailer will sell to the consumer. No, there's no such thing. Services are done like that. Okay, so typically the channel members or the what they call the marketing levels that involved here are related to goods or the products. Yeah, same goes to the businesses here. So the channel members are actually connected by several types of flow. Okay, they could include physical flow of products, flow of the ownership. That means you already own that product. Remember I told you about the risk taking just now. Okay, so the moment the distributor bought the product from the manufacturer or from the producer, they already own the product. Okay, that is when it goes to the flow of ownership. The payment flow, of course, once you buy it, you have made the payment. Information flow, this is in the way that they give information, okay, about what customer would like to have or types of product that customer prefer to buy and so on. All right, and also the promotion flow, which these distributors will also help to do some promotion for the products that they are selling. Now move on to the second learning objective, to discuss how channel members interact and how they organize to perform the work of the channel. We will first look at the channel behavior and also the organization of it. So you know already the channel members or marketing channels, which consist of firms that have partnered for their common good, with each member playing a specialized role. Again, of course, the moment you involve many firms, yeah, they typically involve conflicts, okay, which we call the channel conflicts. This is disagreement among the channel members over their goals, okay, the roles that they play, and also the rewards. And the channel conflict could happen horizontally, okay, which we call the horizontal conflict, or vertically, which is the vertical conflict. So this figure 12.3 shows the comparison of the conventional distribution channel with the vertical marketing system. Okay, so this is how vertical look like, right? The conventional marketing channel. So vertically, like the conflict just now could happen between producer and wholesaler, or wholesaler and the retailer, and also the consumer. Okay, this is how vertical conflict happen, right? So we're not talking about conflict here, we're talking about the system, okay, the vertical marketing system that involve a collaboration or a good fit, okay, between the producer, wholesaler, and also retailer to sell the product to the consumer. So instead of having each and everyone's goals or doing their own business by themselves, you collaborate or you integrate these three firms, all right, to sell, of course, it's the same product to the consumer. So the conventional distribution system consists of one or more independent producers, like I told you just now, the wholesaler and also retailer, which each of them will have a separate business seeking to maximize their own profits, okay, perhaps even at the expense of the profit for the system as a whole. While this VMS, okay, what is VMS? Vertical Marketing System, yeah, will provide the channel leadership and consists of these producer, wholesalers, and also retailer acting as a unified system. Okay, they act at one, they have a common goal, all right, which they might have this corporate marketing system, contractual marketing system, or administered marketing system. Basically, they work together, yeah, okay. Um, Look at the corporate vertical marketing system, which combine the successive stages of production and distribution under single ownership. Okay, that means the producer perhaps own their own wholesaler, or they have their own wholesaler as a subsidiary of their business. Okay, and also their own retailers. While contractual vertical marketing system consists of independent firms at different level of production and distribution who would join together through the contract. Okay, so you have this what they call a contract. So you work together based on the contract that you made. So normally it comes from the MOA or the MOU that has been agreed upon. And of course, you have another what they call the franchise organization, which is a contractual vertical marketing system in which a channel member, which called a franchisor, will link the several stages in the production distribution process. Okay, this is very much related to how they do the franchises, yeah. And lastly, the administered vertical marketing system, which is a VMS that coordinates successive stages of production and distribution through the size and power of one of the parties. So the administered vertical system will give more power to the organization that are big or very successful or very reputable firm. Okay, so somehow or rather the leadership, okay, when you talk about leadership, who control the things, all right, or who should listen to whom, all right, this is based on the size of that particular firm. Okay, if you are the strongest one or you are the biggest one, okay, then the channel members will actually follow that particular firm. Next, moving on to the horizontal marketing system. Okay, the horizontal marketing system is a channel arrangement in which two or more companies at one level join together to follow a new marketing opportunity. Okay. Next one is the multi-channel distribution system. Okay. This multi-channel, that means the producer will use different levels of the marketing channels to distribute their product. Okay, so when this happens when you have a very what they call wide segment of consumers, all right, which you might somehow rather for a certain segment you will do direct marketing. Okay, while some other customers or even business segments you will be using the indirect marketing channels, right? So these are the system in which a single firm will set up two or more marketing channels, like I told you just now, to reach one or more customer segments. And then when you talk about the changing the channel organization, okay, how you organize that particular channel, and there are changing, right? So there is this what they call disintermediation, okay, which is cutting out of marketing channel intermediaries by producer, or the what they call displacement of traditional resellers by somehow new intermediaries. Okay, a good example that you can see here is Spotify. All right. Moving on to the third learning objective, identify the major channel alternatives open to a company. When you want to think about how many channels you want to use, or what distribution, or sorry, which distributor you wanted to use. All right, this is why when you say you have the design of your marketing channel. When you design it, it have to be effective. Yeah, so designing an effective marketing channel by analyzing what the customer need, okay, and also looking at your own setting channel objective, okay, identifying major channel alternatives, and also you need to evaluate those alternatives. So this is what you need to do in designing your channel. First, you need to analyze the consumer needs, okay, and then you must also set your channel objective, right? And then you need to identify your channel alternatives, and of course later on you will evaluate this alternative. So in analyzing consumer needs, first you need to find out what target consumer want from the channel. Okay, do they want convenient, or do they want a cheaper price, or what? Okay, and then you identify who are this market segment. Okay, remember in your segmentation, you need to identify your market segment there, and then you determine the best channel to be used for this particular segment, and make sure that it will minimize the cost of meeting the consumers or the customer service requirements. After that, you set your channel objective. So setting a channel objective, basically you wanted to determine the targeted level of customer service, all right? And you also need to balance the consumer needs against the cost and customer price preferences. Like I told you just now, sometimes you don't really bother about the quality of your distributors as long as the products are sold to the consumer at a very cheap price, because perhaps your segment, okay, your segmentation are those people at the lower income, right? So they don't mind buying at a very hot grocery stores, okay, or in pasar malam, or in tepi jalan and whatsoever. Okay, so when you talk about customer price preferences, which let's say high income level, these people, they don't want to go to tempat yang panas, you know, those places like pasar malam, they don't want to go there, so they would rather pay more expensive prices just to get the convenience of or the comfort of buying the product at a very comfortable place, aircon, okay, and very comfortable lah, okay. So that is when you need to set your channel objective like that. Next one, you identify your major alternatives, okay, major channel alternative lah, right? The types of intermediaries includes the channel members that are available to carry out your channel work, okay, and most company will face many channel member choices. In identifying your major alternatives, yeah, you will be able to look into these three strategy, which basically depending on the number of marketing intermediaries that you wanted to use. When you talk about intensive distribution strategy, the number of marketing strategies will be a lot, okay, so many. That means intensive distribution. So number could be, let's say you want to distribute it at everywhere and make sure it is available every places, okay. So perhaps you will use this what they call intensive distribution. So number of marketing intermediaries will be a lot. While exclusive distribution, the word exclusive here, meaning to say your number of marketing intermediary will be very, very limited, okay, because you want to make sure that the distribution is exclusive, all right. That means you don't simply want to sell your product everywhere. You purposely wanted to make sure that there is an exclusivity of the product, okay. So when people buy that thing, then people know, oh, okay, that is an exclusive product, and that's why it is using exclusive distribution, which you typically will only be able to get it at their authorized distributors, okay. And selective distribution will be in between, okay. Number of marketing intermediaries will be not too many, but not too exclusive into one. Exclusive normally one intermediary, okay. But selective, perhaps you might have a few in one or two in one location, okay. Let me give you an example. An intensive distribution, for example, just take chocolates, okay, chocolates. So there are many brands of chocolates, okay. So intensive distribution, for example, Kit Kat. You can buy Kit Kat everywhere, isn't it? So you'll be able to see there are those grocery stores, supermarkets, or even convenience stores like 7-Eleven and KK Mart and whatsoever, they do have Kit Kats, right? So that is when they use Kit Kat uses this intensive distribution. Okay, when we talk about exclusive distribution, have you heard of the chocolates Godiva? Okay, Godiva, which they only sell their product at their own stores. Okay, that means they have an exclusive distribution, which of course that chocolate is very, very expensive. You can try to Google Godiva, all right, and see the prices of that particular chocolate. So you can only get it at a few stores, and even in Malaysia itself, what I know is that they only have an outlet at KLCC, KLIA, and also in I think Penang, Gurney Plaza, I think. So the distribution are made exclusive because they wanted to maintain the exclusivity of that particular chocolate. All right, so that is what it means by exclusive distribution. While selective distribution, for example, Ferrero Rocher. Okay, so of course you can see a few sellers, okay, do sells Ferrero Rocher, but it will not be available everywhere. All right, so somehow already there are certain supermarket do sell that particular Ferrero Rocher, but some other supermarket they don't sell that Ferrero Rocher. So these are the examples and how you want to identify the major alternatives of your marketing intermediaries in terms of their number. Intensive, many, okay, exclusive, typically one, while selective is only a few in the location. Another thing in identifying the major alternative is the responsibilities of the channel members. Okay, so a producer and the intermediaries need to agree on their price policies. Okay, the condition of the sale, is it can be done, I mean payment, not payment, condition in the way that how can the sales being made. Should they order first? Is it pre-order, or is it ready stock available, and so on? Okay. The territory rights. Territory rights here means the places that you can sell or you cannot sell. All right, and also some specific services should be given to the intermediaries. Okay. Good example, like when you're talking about the Apple iPhone products, yeah, or Apple products, producer. Apple is actually using this exclusive distribution, yeah, which they only allow the selling of the product at certain or at their own authorized resellers, okay, like the Switch, okay, and of course they have some in Harvey Norman and also Thank You. So that's it. Right, so they need to be agreed on the price policies. So whatever price that Apple set for their products, all the intermediaries need to follow that particular pricing policy. Okay, the condition of sale is also similar, which let's say Apple say, all right, you can pre-order the product. That means the intermediaries should also accept the pre-order for the phones or for the products that Apple is selling. And then when you talk about territory rights, this is the place where the intermediaries can sell or cannot sell. Okay, so that's why when you talk about selling it in Kuching, so you have to check the intermediaries selling those products only in Kuching, okay, only for Kuching customers. All right, and also lastly, the specific services that should be given by this intermediary as agreed from the producer. So that's why if you go to Switch, for example, and you have some problems with your phone, they will not be able to solve your problem. They will just say that you need to go to the Apple warranty. Is it what they call it? Apple warranty center lah. Okay, basically to get that particular other services. Okay. And lastly, you evaluate the major alternative. Okay, these include the economic criteria, control issues, and also adaptability criteria. Now, in designing the international distribution channel, you also need to understand that, okay, the channel system should be different, okay, vary from country to country. And marketers should be able to adapt the channel strategies to structures within each country. So you need to understand that each country, of course, they have their own policy, they have their own rules and regulation. So you can't assume that every country will be the same as Malaysia. Okay, so those are the things that you need to understand. You can see example here. Can you see KFCs are being sold and also delivered using a bicycle? Okay, so these are very what they call it, typical. Okay, in some countries, okay, some countries in Asia and also African cities. In Malaysia, we don't have this lah. In Malaysia, normally it is being delivered using motorbike. Okay, some crowded places like, of course, Indonesia, right? In Vietnam, yes, they might use this kind of distribution channel. Now, moving on to the learning objective number 4, which is to explain how companies will select, motivate, and evaluate the channel members. Now, the channel management decision includes whether how they want to select the channel member, and then they will need to manage these channel members. After that, motivate these channel members so that they will always want to sell your product, okay, and evaluate these channel members whether you should still use this channel member to sell your product, or perhaps you need to change other intermediaries or channel members to sell your product. So the public policy and the distribution decision includes this exclusive distribution, like I told you just now. The exclusive dealing, okay, it is when the seller requires that the exclusive distribution sellers not handle the competitor's product. Okay, somehow or other you must have some an agreement that you can only sell the producer's product, not the competitor's product. Okay, there are some companies do that. Okay, the exclusive, the territorial agreement, where the producer and seller will limit their territory, okay, in certain location, and also tying the agreements, which are agreements where the dealer must take most or all of the line, okay, which there is like somehow or other non-negotiable lah. Okay. In the learning objective number 5, we'll discuss the nature and also importance of marketing logistics and integrated supply chain management. First, you need to know what is marketing logistic. Okay, when you talk about logistic, okay, it involve the physical distribution. Okay, physical distribution of the product. Of course, you need to plan and then you implement and control the physical flow of the goods, services, and related information from the points of origin, which is typically from the factory, okay, to the point of consumption to meet the consumer requirement at certain profit rate that you wanted to get. Okay. The logistics, of course, involve in the supply chain management, okay, where you have your suppliers, okay, will inbound the logistic to your company. So your company here is the factory whereby you will actually do the production, and then after you have produced, there will be outbound logistic, which the flow where the product goes to the resellers or the distributors just now, and then resellers, of course, will sell the product to the customers. Supply chain management involves managing the upstream and downstream. Okay, remember the first few slides that I told you just now, and the goal of marketing logistics should be to provide a targeted level of customer service at the lowest or the least cost as possible. There are 4 major logistic functions, which is first one, warehousing, second, inventory management, the third one, transportation, and logistics information management. So warehousing, you know warehouse, right? This is where the logistic provide what they call space or place to what they call to keep a storage, okay, a big storage, a warehouse. Warehouse is a gudang, okay, of the product. Okay, inventory management is helping in doing the inventory of the product. The transportation, of course, either by plane, by bus, no by bus lah, by truck, okay, or by trailer, okay, or by sea freight, okay, air freight, sea freight, somehow or other there are also trains that is being used, okay, for the transportation. And logistic information, this is about just information, okay, whether about the customer demand, about where the market should be, the most demanded market, okay, about the, let's say, economic condition, for currencies, if you're talking about the international logistic information management. So by doing so, okay, those you understand about the logistic just now. So lastly, when we talk about the integrated logistic management, when you say integrated, that means there's a collaborative effort, okay, where this integrated logistic management is the recognition that providing customer service, okay, of course you give the customer whatever that they want, okay, at the best condition of the product, and also the services that can be given to the customer, while you also trimming here, meaning you try to cut the distribution cost, okay. Of course, when it move, okay, logistically or physically, when it move from one place to another place, it will incur costs, okay. But if you do this integrated logistic management, it will be able to cut some costs, okay, but it will you will need to do some teamwork, okay, or you need to collaborate internally and externally. Internally meaning within your own company you have to integrate together, and externally you also need to work together with other firms, okay, which let's say includes the transportation firm, okay. You will be able to make sure that the products are sold to the customer at its best condition, and at the same time you will be able to reduce the cost of the distribution. You can see this example of integrated logistic management by Oracle supply chain management, or the simpler example is like Shopee, okay, Shopee. So they have all the sellers, okay, they sell the products in Shopee. As you try to browse Shopee, or you even browse Shopee every day, I do not know if you buy things from there, and they do partnership, okay, of course with Post Laju, with there are also DHL Express, isn't it? And also I think another one is it ABX, okay. So when they do have that teamwork, okay, teamwork externally with those logistic company, of course Post Laju, okay, DHL, these are the transportation providers, okay, and especially the sellers, okay, sellers from China, okay, of course those products will be transported using air freight, okay, some are using sea freight, okay, yang guna sea tu memang lama lah ya kau sampai, alright. So if you do the partnership or collaboration, perhaps the products that are being partnered together with Shopee will be given priority, okay, or express exporting, or express importing, right, so that of course customer will get it at the fastest time, okay, while at the same time you can also reduce your costs. All right, so I hope you are able to understand about chapter 8 here. And then if you have any questions, please ask me in the WhatsApp group so that I'll be able to explain you further. Okay, so next week I'll be teaching you on our chapter 9, which is the final chapter for this semester. I hope you'll be able to understand them. And again, of course, if you have any question, yeah, please, okay, ask me in the WhatsApp group. Thank you guys. Bye.